Brother Zaid will come now.
Okay. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Okay. Okay, I want to share my screen first. Okay. While I'm sharing, can you please get your stylus, pen or pencil or a marker pen? I want
Zaid, we can't hear you.
Yeah, I thought it was just me.
We cannot hear you. You are not mute, but maybe your connection to your headset. No, we can't hear you. No.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, I have to take out the speaker. This is very technical. Okay, so if you have, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. It's nice to be back at UIA. Haven't been back, I think, 1 year since the last time I did a workshop on. Okay, if you have a pen, pencil, or paper, I want you to draw soon. Huh? But this is my first. Can you see my slides? Just get a yes. Okay, great. Okay. Okay. So I'm going to actually talk about drawing, digital drawing, but focusing actually on drawing to simplify content and inspire learning. Those two things. Huh? So I want you to look at this drawing. What do you see? When you look at this drawing, what do you see? And I want to see whether you see the same as me. Okay, you see many things. Okay, that's
You're off again, Zaid.
I got the problem. Okay, now I'm not mute anymore. Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. You know, it's so funny. I was having my elbow on this one. So when I pressed down, it went mute. Okay. So that's a very common. Okay. So you can see here, can't hear. Okay. Ponies, cloud. Okay. So one of the things that, which is very powerful about drawings, what I learned about is it's a fantastic tool, of course, to visualize and so on, to improve your memory and also improve your creativity. Now, if you look at this drawing, if for me, this drawing, I could have this drawing in front of me and I can give a 1 hour speech. Because to me, I have actually, if you look closely, this is actually my own version of Leonardo da Vinci. And in all these items here are many of his ideas and inventions and so on. For example, he loved to draw horses. Here we have Mona Lisa. He talked about tanks. He talked about modern cities. He talked about mobile bridges. And he had airplanes, helicopters, specialized shields and all that. So this is the power of drawing. It's not about you taking someone else's drawing. It's that you drawing what you want to learn. So this is one of the techniques that I actually teach people if they want to memorize a speech. Is they don't have any words. They just have a nice, simple drawing in their own way. And they can actually give a full-blown speech by just looking at the different images. And they don't even have to have it, because once images are very memorable, so you can actually have it in your head. And it's really powerful. So this is just one example of you can visualize ideas. And I teach that especially for learning and memory and so on. Okay. So I want to ask you, how many of you can draw? Say yes or no. Say yes or no. No. Sorry, my wife called. You know when your wife calls, you cannot. Okay, so no. Okay. Do you have a pencil in front of you now? Do you have a pencil in front of you? A pen, a stylus, a chalk? Okay. Okay, we're going to do a drawing test, huh? Okay. Let me just take away the pointer. Okay, let me just. Okay. Can you draw this? Can you draw this or not? And as you start drawing, I want you to guess what you're drawing. Eh? Okay, draw this. Okay. Let's draw some more. Can you draw this? How's the drawing coming along? Okay, let's continue a bit more. I have to go a bit faster. Usually this it could take okay, I usually do a different thing, but this one is easier for online. How's it going? Afterwards you can show in the camera, we can have a display of our drawing. Okay, let's continue a bit more. What are you drawing? Okay, looks like a duck. Okay, somebody says Rizal, but it's not a duck. Okay, now you should guess what it is. Okay, Pink Panther. Okay, keep on drawing, huh? Be interested to see your Pink Panther. Okay, so I'm gonna speed up a bit. Okay, how is it going? Okay, I'm just gonna finish the drawing so you can. Okay, this coloring. I can see it's being drawn here. So let's see. You don't need to color. I don't expect you to color unless you have digital. The most important is the drawing. Yeah. So this is the drawing. Okay. So does anybody want to show I know it's a bit rushed, but does anybody want to show their drawing? On the it will be fun if you just show you can. I know you can't show in the chat, but you can show on your video. I'll scroll down to see whether you show. It'll be fun to see what you have been drawing just now. Okay. Oh, very nice. I see somebody showing their drawing. I can't see. Okay, it's not so good. If you draw with pencil, difficult to see. Ah, very nice. I saw the Farhin. Very nice. Not bad. Not bad. Good. Your first time drawing Pink Panther. Okay. Oh, very nice. Rose has done this with me before. Have you done this with me before? Okay. Hey, Nadzrin, can I see your Pink Panther, please? Okay, I can't see a thing. It's so thin. You use a thin line. Okay. Not bad. Rizal? Does it look like Elmo or look like Pink Panther? Okay, so very nice. Sorry, I can't see all. I wish I could spend about 5 minutes on this, but I can't because I got quite a few things I want to share with you, which is very exciting about drawing. But one thing I discovered, this is very interesting. When I started doing workshops on drawing, I actually taught them very little about drawing. I just changed their mindset that they can draw. Once you change your mindset that you say, I can draw if I try it, things happen. It's just amazing how things happen. So, okay, so there are 3 rules here. I want you to fill in the blanks. You can do in the chat room. Everyone can. Progress comes with. Have fun. Everyone can draw, okay? Progress comes with practice. And then have fun drawing, okay? You know why I'm saying this is so important is because a lot of people say they cannot draw. And I ask you, when is the last time you drew? And they say it's like 20 years ago. I mean, like anything, if you don't do it, of course, you're not going to be good at it. And another thing that parents or grown-ups often do is they forget to have fun. They are so stressed out when it comes to drawing. And if you're stressed out, you won't continue, okay? So keep this in mind. Everyone can draw. Progress comes with practice and have fun drawing, okay? So these are the 3, these are all my drawings, by the way. I'll get back to later, I use iPad Pro and stylus. So these are the things when I did research I started drawing at the age of 42, okay? 42 years old, I started drawing. So there's no excuse for you unless you're older than me. No, but actually I started drawing again. I'm 46 now, but I started drawing again at 42. Because I was teaching learning skills, I was teaching memory, and I was teaching thinking skills. And when I would do my research, I found that this is what I found in terms of learning, teaching, and innovation. Learning, and in terms of learning, drawing can improve your focus tremendously. And that's one of the things that's magical about drawing. When you start drawing, your mind disappears into whatever. So if you can twitch it to the learning process or to the teaching process or innovation, it improves your focus tremendously. It's an amazing tool for memory, and it's a fantastic tool for design thinking, thinking skills, visual thinking, and so on. So that's part of the learning aspect. In terms of the teaching aspect, I studied some of the best teachers, motivation speakers, and I came back to whether it was Tony Robinson or it was some of the top lecturers from Harvard. Most of them, when they come to the key points, they will use chalk, they will use marker pens, they will actually draw. Khan Academy, right? So it's a fantastic tool to connect or engage, as we talk about engagement now. It's an amazing tool to simplify. If you can draw, you can visualize, illustrate. It's a great way to simplify content, simplify complex concepts. Right? And of course, the last part is, I found that a lot of inspirational speakers, they will go up to the whiteboard when they want to emphasize things. I attended a few NLP trainers. So quite a few NLP trainers use the whiteboard or use the flip charts and when you want to illustrate things instead of just running to the PowerPoint. And then in terms of innovation, it's an amazing tool to improve your imagination and bring to life your ideas. Because a lot of times you have ideas you cannot put into words, but if you can actually draw it out, visualize it with simple, sometimes circles, shapes, and triangles on, you can bring that to life by simply learning a few things about drawing, which I won't actually teach today, but it can be learned very fast. But I'm hoping I get you excited about drawing, and we can move on from there. Okay, let's go to the next slide. So about learning, so this is what I found when I did my research, is something called the drawing effect. And the drawing effect has been proven by research to be more powerful than just writing the words, if you want to remember them. And mental imagery, which most super memory champions teach. And also in terms of picture superiority, by looking at a picture and trying to remember it. Actually, the best is to combine writing words and drawing. Combining them two is extremely powerful. Okay, and then this is very interesting. When I did my research, it's very interesting when you attend lectures and you look at students. Because sometimes I used to have large lectures at IMU, sometimes 300 students, 200 students, 100 students. You can easily see those students are going to fall asleep in the class, and very often those are the ones that are not taking notes, or just sitting there trying to listen. Because it's very difficult to keep. Because when you actually don't use your hands, you are actually. Let me just get this. When you don't use your hands, you are actually not activating much of your brain. Which I'm joking, but you just listen. If you don't use any body movement, much of your brain is not being activated. So by research, they found that actually even writing is more powerful in terms of activation of the brain than typing. Because even when I used to ask hundreds and hundreds of students, I asked them, when you take notes, what do you remember more? What you write or what you type? And they found what they write. Most of them said, I can type notes very fast, but I can't remember much of it while I'm typing. But I can remember what I write. And also in visualization, as they say, drawing, when you use drawing, you actually activate the whole brain. But what is very interesting in here is I have the ayat from the Quran. When I mentioned this, actually it's Prof. Rose. Remember you invited me to talk to some of those guys from Saudi Arabia?
Yeah.
Yeah. So when I was with them, I was telling them what I was doing, right? And he straight away came from ayat from the Quran, which is Surah Alaq. And he said, now I know why they say alladhi allamal bil qalam, that you learn with the pen. So the pen is or using the hand. Actually, we talk about is using the hands. The hands is a very essential part in the learning process. And if you don't activate the hands, much of your brain is not being activated. And there's a lot of research, because I worked in a medical university for 7 years. So when I talk to all these doctors, they'll say, yeah, that makes sense, because so much of your brain is connected to your hands. And if you don't activate your hands, a lot of your brain is not actually being activated. So your hands play a very critical role. And what is interesting is that one of the reasons why typing is not so powerful is because you're not activating your index finger and your thumb. These two fingers are more connected to the brain than any other fingers in any part in the body, actually. So these are so central learning process. If you go back to wars in the history, they used to chop off the artists and the people that made the weapons, they'll chop off their thumbs and their fingers, so they cannot do all their work. So this is very central in the learning process, your fingers. This goes for the teachers also. When they teach, when they activate the index finger, thumb, that might help them to be more focused when they're teaching and even remember what they're trying to teach. Okay, let's go here. And then visual note taking. We talk about mind mapping. I did the same. When I was in UIA, going back to UIA, I actually when I came into UIA, I studied in Norway. I come to UIA, and UIA, you have to remember so much, right? And from Norway, you don't remember anything. so I had to apply a lot of these memory techniques. And then I found for me mind mapping. Acronyms and mind mapping. From one semester from B, I went to Dean's List within one semester. But actually, I found something even more powerful than mind mapping, because mind mapping, if you follow Tony Bozana, is very limited, because they always say you have to start in the middle. I mean, it has all these rules. But visual note taking actually breaks all those rules. You can do whatever you want as long as you have your own routes through the process of learning. So visual note taking, in short, is very powerful for learning. It's very powerful for teachers when they're sharing their content. And it's also very powerful for problem solving. So this is an example, a note I took. This is Prof. Mushtaq, employability in the 21st century. He gave a 1.5 hour talk. Of course, I didn't do everything while he was there. I like to recap later. So actually, he talked about 3 things in a university, which is very interesting, but which I can't talk about now, is that we talk about academic excellence. That's every university is trying for that. But in Heriot-Watt University, Mushtaq is trying to emphasize, I think he's already been to UIA before, right? Emotional intelligence and happiness. And how do they do that? Infuse that? is through a lot of activities. They have a lot of activities, projects that try to make you happier. And of course, in Islam, if you don't have, if you don't have a God, it's not going to help you much. It's just temporary. So, but I like the process that for them to get emotional intelligence, for them to infuse that into them, they have to do a lot of activities, projects, helping people and doing things for others and so on. So this is just an example of visual note taking. So I'm just going to show you some pictures. So this is Prof. Ramesh. When I shared with him drawing, he hadn't drawn for 20 years. He actually won a competition. He stopped drawing. So I asked him why he stopped, but then slowly he started drawing. So this is interesting. This is my first workshop. You can imagine I started drawing only 1 year. I've only been drawing 1 year. I say, okay, I want to do a workshop. So this is actually Ashura Institute of Quranic Sciences. My first workshop ever in drawing. I had no clue what's going to go on. I went there was 6 or 7 students, autistic. So they were running all over the place and it was just amazing. But what I discovered there was very interesting. I didn't teach them drawing at all. I went to the whiteboard. I talked about drawing. I drew, actually I have something called the Garfield test. So I would start drawing something and ask everybody to draw it. And by the end they finished the drawing, you have drawn Garfield's face. And what was amazing was everyone could do it to a certain extent. So that built that confidence in them. And then they started drawing. So then you can see here, this is not social distancing, by the way. But okay, this is before MCO. But they started drawing. I like to do 2 kinds of drawing, individual drawing and collaborative drawing. So I give them a mahjong paper and I ask them, imagine the future classroom or imagine the future invention. And you see the kids drawing all sort of stuff. And you can see here, this was a girl that drew, and this group of girls, they couldn't draw for 10 minutes. You know, they were perfectionists, they cannot draw. And then suddenly when they let loose, this is what they actually drew, this robot here. It was just amazing. And then the brothers, I don't have pictures here, but there's I have a lot of pictures, but I can show later. But this is from University of Malaya. So I went to the university, I tried it with professors. This is during a conference. And you can see them, they are drawing also the future, using mahjong peg together. And what I discovered in the process is, especially collaborative drawing, it lets people loose. And one of the things Rizal and Nadzrin, all of you, for you to be really creative, what do you have to be? You have to be relaxed. You have to have fun, right? So what thing drawing does that, it empowers you to do that. But for you to believe, the challenge is to make people believe that they can draw. And that was once you get that over that hurdle, doesn't matter what it looks like, because it's not about the drawing, it's about the idea. So then they started drawing all sort of things. And this is from another workshop in University of Malaya. And he started drawing. This guy here is talking about the future university, future learning space. Okay, it looks really crazy, right? Because I play a bit with some creative techniques. And this is from Taylor's University. You can see they're bringing it to life. You can see when they're presenting their future university, the life that brings into them. It's just amazing. This is from Turkey. When I went to Turkey, one school I'm helping out, Unique. You can see the kids, they're coming to life. Even here, they're juggling balls. That's another story. You can see here some of the excitement. Look, I always have gamification. So you can see the chocolate here. This is from Malaysia, M&M from Malaysia. But it's not M&M, Malaysian M&M, but it's just about that. So you can see the excitement. So they're having fun. And we had actually, it was very funny how to decide the winner, the one that gets the most noise. I use a decibel measure in my phone. It has a decibel measure. So scream loudest, which one you like most of the drawings. You can see you have the decibel measure here. So you had 109.7. That's reaching Sharipova, you know. You know Sharipova. So there's many ways to get feedback. You know, you don't have to get feedback through visual or told. So this is from UIA. This is Prof. Rose again, STEM workshop. We did some nice drawings, superheroes and so on. But the whole process is relaxing, getting exciting, having fun, and they're coming up with great ideas in the process. This is here at Watt University. They had a project actually, empowerment, and they just want the fun just to generate ideas. So look at the way they're presenting. Look at the emotion, the happiness, the excitement, right? Usually when people present to ideas, it's a bit stressed. Are they going to like my idea? No? But when it was drawing, it just kind of relaxed them a lot. You can see here some of the pictures. Okay. This is from Singapore. It's Alsagoff. I'm Alsagoff. There's an Alsagoff school in Singapore. So again, but what I discovered was one of the challenges was traditional drawing is very fun, but they don't apply it to teaching and learning. Maybe a bit. So then I introduced digital drawing. I went back to USM and we did digital drawing. So then I taught them how to draw, whether iPad, iPhone or something, how to do digital drawing using a tool to sketchbook. You can see here. Even this artist here, he refused to use digital technology, but once I showed him, he discovered the power of not stop painting, but he did now I can do prototyping fast. So before the client, I still have to do real paint for prototyping. I can just do digital drawing for prototyping. So you can see some of their work. This is the first time they're doing digital drawing. You can see this is amazing, but he could draw, but he did digital drawing. And this is writers. People write books all these kids books. They realized instead of spending weeks doing illustration with the paint and all that, they actually do on batik. They can actually do digital drawing. Even I went to the Society for the Deaf, how they can use visualization and drawing for the power of learning. And this is with Prof. Rose, was one of the project there. Prof. Rose there. Okay, so you can see they're flying cars. But to me, the whole process was never about the drawing. It was the students to bring out the ideas, the imagination. So I always said, your drawing is not important. As long as it can communicate, or you can communicate with your drawing what you want to the audience, that's the more important stuff. It's not the drawing itself. A lot of people get stuck up on the drawing. That's art world, something to get stuck up on the drawing. I said, no, it's really about your idea or your visualization or your excitement. That's more important than the drawing itself. The drawing can come later, but I want you to use it to bring about that great idea that you have within you. Okay, and can you guess who this is? This lady here. She's 98 years old, still drawing. Everybody thinking, who is this? Yes, my grandmother. Ma'an al-Khatib. This is my grandmother in Norway, because I'm half Norwegian. But she didn't start drawing because of me. She's always done things with her hands. And what I wanted to prove is that a lot of people, I cannot prove it scientifically now, but a lot of people that end up with Parkinson and what's the other one? Alzheimer and all that, is if you use your hands a lot and you memorize a lot, you have a big chance to avoid it. She's a good example of that. She, from downwards, she's hardly useless, but her hands, she's always used her hands to do things. Her mind is just amazing. At the age of 98, her mind is just amazing. And I think that's one reason, because she's always using it, and especially with everything with the hands, a lot of things. Even, we'll get back to it later. I only got 5 more minutes. So I just want to share with you. So when it comes to drawing, you can be paper, you can be mahjong paper. It's very good for collaborative drawing. You can use a whiteboard. This is for teachers. They can. I always say the easiest content to develop in e-learning is to use the whiteboard, put a camera there, because that's what you've been doing, many of them, all their life, and get good audio, and you have amazing e-learning content already. Some of the best e-learning content out there is just using a whiteboard and recording your audio. Boom, you have it out there straight away. So you can see this is an example, not e-learning, but this teacher, what she used to do was she would come in the morning 5 to 20 minutes early, and then she will draw something, and then she'll ask a question, and students will come on the whiteboard and write their things about, ideas about what was written out the question. This is Dr. Najib lectures. He's one of the most famous medical, he claims to be the #1 in the world, but he's actually one of the best. And what he does is very simple. He just uses a whiteboard, he talks and he records it, and it's world-class materials. Okay, and then you have Khan Academy, which is a digital stylus, again, just drawing. Okay, I'm going to skip this. Okay, so basically, to draw, to engage for teachers, to simplify and inspire. These 3 things can be very powerful in terms of teaching and learning. In terms of innovation, who is this? Who drew this? I think anybody that's, I know the speakers will definitely know. If they don't know this, I will come personally and shoot them.
He's a Ninja Turtle.
Yeah, huh? Donatello?
Yeah, he's a Ninja Turtle.
Okay, it's Leonardo da Vinci, not Leonardo DiCaprio. Leonardo da Vinci, yeah. He was one of the first ones that combined art and science in a very creative way. Yeah? He did art, and then he did a lot of science, and he had a lot of ideas, and he put it to paper, and it's still captured today. That's 500 years ago, and his ideas are still there. Look at his drawing. I mean, his drawing is not amazing, but the fact that he's applying drawing to illustrate what he's there, and then he writes about what he's written. Okay, I'm going to skip this, okay? I'm just skipping this. Digital drawing. Now, when it comes to digital drawing, which is really nice about it, is it empowers. What are the 2 things that stop people from drawing? One is that they don't feel they're creative. So at no point I'm not creative. The second thing is they don't think they have a steady hand. Because most of the people are trying to say, I can't, my hands are not shaking. I can't do a circle, I can't do a square. Don't worry. When it comes to digital drawing, as long as you learn the basics of shapes and ideas, you can draw anything. Because why digital drawing? Oh, this is Khan Academy, not because of Salman Khan, but it's a lot of tools. I'm going to show you Auto Sketchbook because the predictive stroke. And this is something that's quite new, that's available for people. What is the predictive? Look at this here. This is freehand on digital stylus, freehand. But look at predictive stroke now. The next one is predictive stroke. So when you draw, they use artificial intelligence to straighten out your lines or circles and curves. So once you have that, it liberates you. as a people that cannot draw, it actually liberates you. And that's the power. That's when I teach people. That's why I say when people, when you're doing engineering, biology, and so on. And one of the challenges today, Prof. Rose has been talking about, Prof. Karim has been talking about, create your own content, right? But one of the biggest problems, people are creating their own content, but they're not really creating their own visuals. A lot of people are just taking clip art here, visual image. So I'm emphasizing, if you just practice for 1 or 2 weeks, I teach you the basics, and you can draw anything, at least for education. Because education is very, usually most education content is quite based on circles, squares put together in a creative ways. Huh? So this is an example. I don't know if, Prof. Rose, do you remember this slide here? This is from the ethical conference, right? So when I was there, I was shocked. This was the most important slide during the conference. So I went back and actually redrew it. Because this is actually the 16 core values in Malaysian education. So what I did is I drew them. I mean, it's very crowded, but what I can do later is each one can become a slide. But the thing is, you're visualizing, so people actually have some visual image of the different core values. Okay. So beyond that, I got 58 seconds. You can do Islamic calligraphy. This is my first drawing of Islamic calligraphy. I start from scratch. Even the calligraphy I draw myself using a stylus. Of course, you have, as I said, predictive stroke. So this is my first calligraphy, and I've done about 20, 30 of them. So just showing a couple of them. So this I can teach you people, especially because this is UIA, right? Maybe it's like want to draw something. If you do it digitally, if you have a stylus and an iPad, it's amazing what you can do. And this took me about 1 or 2 hours. And I drew from scratch with a white screen. I always challenge myself to draw from a white screen. And I'm so good. I'm applying critical thinking and creative thinking. Huh? And of course, if you're depressed, you're sad, coloring is very powerful. Therefore, they have a lot of books for adult and coloring, okay? It's a very good practice to deal with anxiety and depression and so on. Okay, so I want to recap again. The most important thing I want to share with you today is that drawing is extremely powerful for students to improve their focus, to improve their memory, and improve their thinking skills. And when we talk about thinking skills, computational thinking, okay, there's my alarm there, sorry. Computational thinking, critical thinking, collaborative thinking, predictive thinking, visual thinking, and so on. All this can be done if you use drawing in a strategic way, not just drawing bubble, but you actually use it strategically. For teachers is to be able to connect, to engage, and simplify complexity and inspire students. And then for innovation, but it's design thinking and so on, is the idea to bring to life your ideas, your imagination in collaborative sense, and also have fun. Once you have fun, you relax, your ideas start flowing. You know, Nadzrin is really good at that, right? You have fun with it, the ideas start flowing out. I know I've talked about, but this is really I wanted to share with you to open your mind that actually drawing is an extremely powerful tool. And there are some, I can share that later. I have a group in Facebook that explores digital drawing, but also drawing itself. It's not about only digital drawing, it's drawing itself. For your kids, if you don't want to do it for your kids, it's extremely powerful for brain development for your kids and visual thinking and so on. So it's very important to expose it. A lot of people now say we don't need it because we have technology, we have Google, can predict it. It's not the same, because when you activate your index finger and your thumb, and then you connect it to visual thinking, it's extremely powerful. Okay, so, and yes, okay, I'll skip this. Okay, so yeah, so that's it, Rose. I think we should go on the Q&A now. So thank you very much, and I hope you enjoyed the session. Much more of a promotion, motivation speech, but alhamdulillah, thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you, Zaid.